Hit the Zazook time. Bring my breath on my money climb. Charts and trends, let's make it clear. Trade today, no fear in here. Gamble low, the lines are tight. Plan a move before the fight. Strategy is sharp, we're leading the way. Zazook reps it on the day. Zazook time. It's Zazook time. It's Zazook time. Guess what? It's Zazook time.
All right. Hello and welcome to today, December 23rd. I am your host, Biz, coming to you live with co-founder Andy.
Hello.
And this is the Crypto Pre-Market Prep. Yeah, I'm sorry. My camera was working earlier, but it seems to not have been working now, but I'll figure that
just
out.
noticed on the Twitter stream I can't see your delightful face, Biz.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you, it was live. I just moved off the screen and all of a sudden I'm looking, I'm like, what just happened here? It's pretty funny, man. That's all good. It's all good. But hey, look, like, I mean, I think going into the weekend, people were spooked 100%. There was a nice bounce over the weekend, and then a slight dip. And so what we're seeing now is actually quite interesting. But it is also the holidays too. So I mean, as much as I would have wanted to play the bounce over the weekend, I couldn't. I really couldn't. And the one thing I've learned in the past is that if you don't have time to trade, don't force the trade, because like this is where your account can get completely blown. And so look, we're all human at the end of the day. We get busy at times, and things like this tend to happen. So yeah, but it's moments like that, like the market's always going to hand you trades day in and day out. So as long as we're patient and all that. So yeah, curious to know what's happening, at least on your end. I think you had the time, if I'm not mistaken. Plus, you've also been identifying some pretty cool strategies. So yeah, curious to catch up to see how you've been. And it was a nice weekend, hopefully for everybody else, and for everyone. So yeah, let's just get into it and let's talk about the market health.
So I mean, there's not a lot to tell about the market at the moment. This report's just come in an hour ago. As you can see, everything's kind of down, deeper and down, but which is not telling the whole story. But at the moment, the market's not recovered, right? In terms of Bitcoin, short term is negative, turned negative today. Because Bitcoin's been, I'll show you this, but Bitcoin's been having pull downs and going up 1%, then dropping 2% and up 1%. So it's, the long-term trend is still, though, neutral. It's not red. We've not got, a stop sign yet. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And if you go to BTC and go back to this one we put in a long time ago with these likely, could be, and what the fuck, we're nowhere near likely yet. I mean, we got nearly down to it when we had that dip on the 5th of December. We kind of nearly went down to it again on the 20th. But so far, we're kind of, holding our own. So I don't, we may go down more, but as you say, though, at the moment, the institutions will all be going off to drink their champagne over Christmas. So it's easier for people to manipulate and play the market. But I personally, as trading, I quite like it. There's been an alert. What's that? Algo crossing down. I can't look at it now. Yes, I quite like it, and I'll explain why in a minute when I show things. Others, if we look at others, this is all of the crypto minus the top 10. It gives you similar results to total, which is all of the crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. but this just minuses the top 10 from it. And I usually show the week table, and we've had 2 bad weeks, and currently we're in the green. But of course, we've only had 12 hours of this week so far, so I can't predict what is going to happen. But we have had red week, green week, red week, only just a red week, and now we're starting to show green. So maybe this is rounding off here, maybe, don't know. But to be honest, when it comes to the alts, all depends on what Bitcoin does. Right, so let's go to our stuff over here for a minute, because part of this conversation is to talk about things we're going to change as well, right? Which I'm going to get into in a second. I've got a little surprise for Biz because he doesn't know I'm going to say this. But so if we look at our friendly altcoin season or not, it has had just a little turn up. So it went down to what was it, 46, and now it's up at 49. So not a lot of news today, actually, because it's been the weekend. So I've not got a lot of news. We can look at the liquidation heat map, and over the last 24 hours, remember we were up at like 1 point something billion, right? And now that's much smaller. That's much smaller. I also found another report inside this, which was this stuff. No, not this one, not this one, not this one. It was really cool. Let's try this. Oh, yeah. And this shows the liquidations at the different leverage. So bright yellow is 50x leverage, orange is 100x leverage. Light green, light cyan is, which is down here, is 10x, and the what is that, purple is 25x, and it shows you the liquidations, this report. These are all free if you want to go to them on CoinGlass. It's a really fantastic website. And they break down all this kind of data so you can see what's going on. So whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So I really like that. I found one piece of Twitter that this is a bit old now because I found it probably on Saturday. But they were saying that 2.5 billion worth of BTC and ETH options are set to expire today. That was 20th, yes. And ETH options, what was it? BTC options notional value 1.99 billion, max paying 102. Well, that turned out to be wrong. ETH options notional value 590 million, max paying 3,750. Well, that's not true. But that's not true because Bitcoin fell further and Ethereum followed it, right? So, you know, we know about that. Now, from a trading point of view, when it comes to Bitcoin, this chart, you'd have to understand the way I trade to learn this. And to do that, you've got to come into our server, and then I can show you. But this is the chart I use on Bitcoin. Only Bitcoin as an indicator. So like people use EMAs, like people use RSIs. I use this as an indicator. And you've just seen here, Bitcoin is having right now on the 5-minute chart a pullback. So let's go back here to this coin. And as you can see, it's having a pullback. And if we go to this coin, now this coin is going against it. I'm going to come back to this. If we go to Ray, it's having a bit of a pullback. Now, I use a certain strategy. This coin, LPT, I have been trading all weekend using this strategy, right? And you'll see the yellow lines. You can barely see this within this demand zone, but whatever's the active demand zone. So if it goes down, I color that in gray, and then if it comes down to this one, I color that in white. So at a glance, I can see which is the active demand or supply zone, right? And I've got the POC. This is the point of control yesterday, which I can teach people how to do this in the server. But as you can see, it kind of comes up to this, bounces down to the point of control, and then maybe does a sweep, and then in you go. So I've had trades of like 5% there, but with this I have such a small stop. My stop, as you can see on this next one I was planning, I'm not going in now because I've finished trading for the day, was 0.78%, 0.78% stop loss. And that's all you need. And if you get stopped out, you lose a few dollars. But if Bitcoin suddenly starts to go around, so what I do is I take the trades where Bitcoin is coming down. You'll see how it's been bouncing off this older point of control. This is the point of control for today on Bitcoin, but it's been bouncing off this one, which is, I don't know if it's yesterday's, but it's an old one. But they're still valid, right? They're still valid points of control. Bounces off, goes up, bounces off, goes up. Let's see, on the screen it might bounce off and go up. Say that again?
I mean, it kind of seems a bit weak right now, right? With a lower high?
Yeah, you look at the volume, I mean, it's not, the volume is not massive. But the American markets have not opened yet, and I don't know how many people are working this week, or they've already gone off on their holiday or vacation if you're in a country that uses that word. But this particular coin, LPT, I've had so many trades, and I couldn't take all of them because I think one of them was when I was sleeping. But I tend to use this now. This POCT today. This is one of yesterday, but you can see it still uses it as support and resistance. But when it goes beneath it and confirms, if the big blue indicator, I call this big blue, right, Bitcoin, if it's showing me that it's also going to have a rise, unless the coin like Move has been counter trading BTC on occasion, I then go in, and the risk is very small, and then you get something like I tend to get out like on a 7% or something, but I use 20x leverage, so 7% is 140% profit, right? And it's a really good system. So this coin, I'm not sure, they come to an end. Like you will find that the kind of moves come to an end in a coin, and you have to just find new coins to move on to, right? Move is a good example. Move was my coin of last week, and I did so many. If you look at this is like, this is not today. This is back on the 20th, but this is the point of control today, and you can see how even when you went back in, this was still like a very active demand zone around that point, and this was the one that. This was the trade today that I got, and then I was waiting. I got out, but I was waiting for it to come back down here, but it bounced off the point of control. It didn't come down, and then it's just gone off. So I've got my alert set here. Let me just move this. But I was going to trade it down here, right? And how it then took off.
Yeah. And how is this point of control determined on the daily basis?
So there's something called the volume profile, and you can find, and what that does is over the day. So early in a day, the today's point of control can move very quickly. Yeah. It stabilizes over the day as more orders. So it's all based off the order book history. So you know where the bulk of the orders were placed. So in other words, where it's called the point of control, but imagine it as the highest point of interest, where the price that people think that they're all trading at. Yeah. So it tends to come back to it. I mean, that's the thing, but it also comes back to older ones. So if I go to Ray, this is a really good example. This is the point of control for today. Mm-hmm. It's bounced off it now. You can see here it's bounced off it, but actually because Bitcoin was falling, and that's why this indicator is so important to be set up like this. It fell down, and it fell down beneath all of this, and then as it flew back up pretty well, I waited for it to come down and test this point of control again, and then went in and just took 6%. I waited for it to kind of ping up to here, to the next point of control. But as it kind of started to come down and I thought it's not going to recover, I got out at around 6%. But 6% at 20x leverage is 120%. So it's a system I found to use, and it takes a bit of time to learn, but happy to learn it in our server, which brings me on to the next thing I want to talk about, and this is not necessarily going to be a very long stream, we are going to be changing things up in the way that we do things and the entire structure of our server. And we're changing. Now, we have a lot of data. As you know, we have the juicy tips here. But what this gives us is a tremendous amount of data. And I, as the software engineer, can write, and have written lots of code that finds coins. Oh, yeah, it finds coins. I've just put them in ChatGPT once I get the data. So that tells me if Bitcoin's going down, or Bitcoin's not moving much, which coins are counter trading it, which coins are shooting up while Bitcoin's going down. And it helps me identify the coins of interest, like right now at this moment in time. Right now, you don't need to wait for a particular signal. You actually find out that these coins are doing better right now in this moment. And so then you can come on and do your setup, which again, I can teach. But coming back to here, we're going to completely change this stream. This stream, this particular stream is going to turn into some news like we do now, but also a bit of a trading stream where Biz and I are going to go head to head on a 10x challenge. And we're going to call it the Boomer and Degen live stream because I'm a tad older than Biz and I've been around the block a little bit more, and I'm definitely a boomer, and Biz is much more of a degen in his trading style than I am.
Oh.
So there are times that Biz goes into a trade and I say, I wouldn't take it, but sometimes he does well, right? So what we're going to do is a 10x challenge. So the bit that you don't know, Biz, is that in the BingX exchange, I have cleared out some funds because we said we were going to do a 10x challenge from $500. So as it happens, I've got 503, and I've been trading today, but I've not counted them, right? So we are going to start a 10x challenge, the first one to $5,000. And we're going to show you the kind of trades that we're doing. And in the server, if you were to follow us and come into the server, as I'm doing these setups, as I'm looking for these coins to trade, as I do now within our private section, I will be dropping in. I am waiting, like for instance, I'm waiting for this coin to drop down to here, and then I'm thinking of going in. This is my setup, right? So if you're wanting to trade, you can probably do your own setup and look at your own risk reward, and you might be not happy with the stop loss I do. You might want to do it slightly differently, but things like trade setups, what coins we're interested in trading right now. And we're also going to do things like longer term holds, like which coins. We've talked about SUI before now and the SUI protocol. So we're going to start structuring things like that so that you can A, learn stuff, B, you can trade, and C, you can get involved in a community.
Absolutely.
So
man, the biggest surprise right now is that I never reflected the boomer as an age thing. I just thought that, it's either you're new to crypto or you're not. And if you're not, you're probably a degen. And if you're new, or you're probably feeling like a boomer.
A boomer is the time you were born. And then you had, I don't know what came after boomer, but then you've got like millennials, you've got Gen Z, you've got these, right? But degen is the kind of Web3 thing, but boomer is, in that sense, boomer, I've been around, I've been coding for decades, right? And things like that. But so yes, a boomer from that point of view also, but actually in the generation I was born, I am classed as a boomer. So that's what we're going to do. The challenge is on, and the difference is as we do this, I will be showing all the trades that I've done. So we're going to be very transparent, and we're going to show you it. So losses included, right? Losses included. Yesterday I made a loss. I had a trade, I think in LPT actually, and I had a very tight stop. And I only lost like tens of dollars because I always set my stop loss immediately as I place the order. So a losing trade for me is usually 10, 20, 30, $50, depending on the stop loss on the coin, right? But so that's it, right? That's it. And in fact, the moment that any trade of mine goes, so if I'm in a trade here and it goes up to say here, I literally move my stop loss on the server to like trailing it by say 2%, something like that. So my stop is going up all the time. So even if it does, if Big Blue turns around and tanks like this, and they all then turn around and tank also for no good reason, I've got profit no matter what. So that's what I do. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. As well as Boomer and Degen, we're going to do other streams, which are maybe educational in terms of how to trade or news related, things like that. But this is the kind of pivot that we're going to do. And of course, on top of that, later there will be the NFT. We've got the NFT already. So we are going to do an NFT for membership, but not immediately. So people that get early access are going to get early access.
Yeah, and that's where the real alpha is at. On top of that, if you're not already doing so, follow Andy. It's in the descriptions, but give him a follow. He'll be doing more streams. He's definitely in the weeds of the data side of things. But also I've learned a lot, just even through our streams. I'm learning. I'm constantly learning, because like he mentioned, I am, I came from this high leverage degen sort of mentality back in 2019, and definitely paid a lot of dues, but at the same time, quite aware with sort of chart setups, TAs, and all that kind of stuff. And so with data, I mean, it's such a strong tool set, and it's just using the data and getting into the right trades. And if you can use data in the right way, I mean, it's a really fantastic tool to use for any trader. And so, yes, this is exciting times because we are starting a new challenge, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot more value to offer. So, this is our promise, I guess, moving forward. And yes, I guess the challenge is on. So tomorrow we're looking to shake things up. We'll look to bringing in the new segment. And yeah, we'll hope to we aim to deliver on high value content. And this, let's just make it happen. So I guess that's it for today. Andy, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's it. It's as they say, game on.
Let's go. All right. Dude, I don't know what's wrong with my camera, and that's just such an unfortunate thing because my reaction is legendary right now. Plus, I got no shirt on, so you know what? That's your problem. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
All right, guys, but look, we're back on tomorrow. It is the holidays, so enjoy your holidays. Thanks to you everyone for stopping by, and we look forward to doing this again tomorrow. All right, take care, everybody.
Happy trading and Merry Christmas if this is the last time you're watching the stream during the